Okay, so welcome to yet another exciting Scrivener webinar where we'll be discussing Scrivener Essentials, a simple guide to creating time-saving templates in Scrivener. And I am so excited about this topic. It just gives me bubbles inside because for real, this is like my favorite topic. Next to maybe like custom metadata, which is really cool too. But this one, we can preload custom metadata inside a template. I can't wait. Let's just dive right in. Let's get into it. Okay. So for those of you who don't know who I am Oliver Evanson, and I'm a writer, I'm an editor, and I'm a Scrivener writing mentor, largely thanks to this exceptional software. And for the better part of 15 years, I have used Scrivener to improve my writing and editing skills, and I'm eager to teach you these skills in my position as outreach specialist for Literature and Latte, the creators of Scrivener and Scapple. Now, I absolutely love connecting with other like-minded writers like you. So if you'd like to connect with me, please send me an email, or better yet, join one of my email lists. I frequently send out valuable tips and techniques to help you become a better writer. So and also all free subscribers will receive a copy of my free starter novel template, which hopefully today you'll be able to take a peek under the hood and see how I made that. And of course, if you'd like to see what I'm writing in Scrivener, I highly encourage you to check out my Substack, oliverevanson.substack.com, where I'm posting my debut novel, Mark of the Shadow. It's a fantasy novel. It's a lot of fun. I think I've got 6 or 7 chapters up right now. I think it's 7. I think I have 7 chapters up right now, free and ready to read. So check those out. It's a great story. And plus, I even got audio. So if you like listening to books versus reading them, I got you covered, okay? Okay, well, let's get rolling here. Excuse me. I wish I don't have my tissue. Oh well, I'll manage. Schedule. Okay, now that we've gotten better acquainted, let's just spend a few minutes outlining the schedule for today's session. So first off, we're going to start out with a short introduction or a topic where I will kind of tell you what to expect, what you should expect to learn from me today. Then we'll move on to our training where I'll cover how to create project and document templates, 2 very powerful tools in our arsenal. And to wrap up, I'll provide you with a wealth of free resources to help you utilize and deepen your understanding of Scrivener and improve your writing skills. I'll also leave ample time for our Q&A at the end, where I'll do my best to answer as many questions as possible. So let's talk about what should we be learning today. Now, I hate it when you jump into a webinar and they're like, hey, they're just talking for like 45 minutes and don't ever get to their training. Well, that's not me at all. We're going to dive right in and we're going to talk about what we should expect to learn today. And today's a pretty simple topic, thankfully. There's not a lot to cover. And so hopefully we can really dig deep and kind of figure this out. So first off, I promise to teach you how to create project templates to get new projects started off on the right foot. So most of you already know you can create project templates from the templates that exist in Scrivener, but we're going to talk about how we can customize those and make them our own. So that way we can really get our project started off with the tools we need every single time. And of course, it's going to, that's going to change and they're going to modify, they're going to grow over time. They're kind of a living template is how I see it. They just always get better and better, but that's okay. Each project you do kind of improves from the last one. Next, we're going to look at how to leverage document templates, which are stored directly inside our project, to quickly utilize Scrivener tools such as document targets, labels, and status. And last but not least, we're going to learn how to manage our templates to keep ourselves organized and productive. And I'm confident by the conclusion of this presentation, you should leave. You should be able to use templates to. You should be able to leverage this powerful tool to save you precious time. Okay, so let's get on with it. Let's do it. Now, I know some people hear templates and they're like, templates, formula. Don't tell me anything about that. But really, I don't think templates as formulas per se. I mean, they certainly can be. You can over-template something, and it can become formulaic. But the goal for a template for me is really is just to provide me with a structure, right? Give me the scaffolding to hold me up, to keep me in focus so I don't get lost wandering in strange, unknown roads, not actually accomplishing anything. So let's talk a little bit about the what and why behind templates. So what are templates in Scrivener? Well, first off, it's important to know there are two types of templates in Scrivener: project templates and document templates. And simply put, project templates are ordinary projects that have some basic starter material added to them and some settings tweaked to reduce how much work you need to do to get started on your new project. Now, document templates, on the other hand, are stored within the project's template folder that are commonly used texts, settings, and metadata. This way, you can easily duplicate the template for future use without having to recreate it from scratch each time. Okay. Now, here's how templates might be able to help you out. Okay. First off, they give you a starting point. They are a quick way to build to start your project without having to start from scratch. Now, I know some people like to start from scratch. If that's you, that's okay. Do you. But if you need a little help like me, I love having just a little bit of guidance, a little bit of structure to get me going. It can also simplify your writing process by providing structure and guidance to help you organize your thoughts and ideas. In short, templates can keep you consistent, on task, and focused in a specific direction. They can also save you time and money by eliminating the creation of repetitive information within your Scrivener project. Yeah, trust me, this one's a big one. For example, you can set up plot structures in a collections or custom metadata. You could create a custom character template that you use again and again, or set up project or document targets to save those settings in a template. Doing those things, adding those tools, means that you don't have to do it again for the next project and the next project. You don't have to start from scratch every time. You can set that up, create the template, and then use that template again and again, and even modify it and improve it over time. So this increases flexibility. It makes it just so much easier for you. So let's let's get one thing straight, though. I will say this about templates. Templates will not write your novel for you, okay? Really what they do, and I think I've kind of mentioned this, but I'm going to reinforce it now. Instead, they can really point you in the right direction and give you that support as you work your way to triumph, or to victory, so to speak. So don't expect templates to do all the work for you. They just simply provide a strong foundation as you make progress towards success. So let's do it. Okay, so let's talk about first, this is kind of ironic, we're actually going to talk about document templates first. Now, originally, I had those flip-flops. I used to talk about project templates first, but it didn't really make sense to talk about project templates until we had first talked about the templates that are stored inside a project. So we could actually build a template, so to speak, using document templates and things inside of our project, and then look at it from the outside view. So Scrivener's document templates are a powerful time-saving tool, and they allow you to assign labels, status, targets, and custom metadata fields to your template, eliminating the need to repeat these steps for each document. So using templates can help you create chapters effortlessly, scenes, character profiles, research notes, and more within minutes, just to have that structure that you need there. Now, using templates not only saves you time, but also ensures consistency throughout your writing. So by setting up a template with a predefined format and structure, you can focus on the content without worrying so much about the technical details. This is especially helpful for longer projects such as novels or academic papers, where maintaining consistency is crucial. Now, in addition to saving time and promoting consistency, templates allow for flexibility in your writing process. You can create multiple versions of a template tailored to different types of documents or projects. So let's go ahead and explore how to set up document templates in Scrivener's folder and showcase some of the exemplary document templates that I've created, and hopefully I can kind of guide you through creating some of your own as well. We're going to dive right in here. Now, switch screens real quick. Boom. And we will get on started here. Now, I love to use my existing project template, the starter novel template, as a good example of this. But before we do that, we're going to start with our fiction template here, just the default one that you all have. So you can kind of see how I went about creating the starter novel template from scratch here. And of course, you can do so much more. So I'm going to actually call this my starter novel template, okay? And we're saving in my Scrivener projects here. Okay, so first off, we make this a little bit bigger. And we can kind of see, this is how every fiction novel template gets started out. And right away, there are things that personally I don't need, right? I don't need the novel format. I can get this anytime I want to. right? It's really easy to do. I can go ahead and delete that. Typically, my chapters and scenes are a little bit different, so I handle things a little bit different than that, so I'm going to throw that away too. Manuscript is fine. Characters is fine. Places is fine for now. Actually, sometimes I change places to setting. Front matter, I like to have that in my research folder. I don't need this sample output here. Okay, just it's useful to look at it maybe once, but once again, anytime I want to get this stuff again, I go to File, New Project, and I create a new project, and I can have this all right back. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete that as well. Okay, and okay, looks good. And then I also keep all my research inside the research folder itself. I don't have any amount, so I keep a very minimalistic looking folder here, right? So right there, I've cleaned this up. Now imagine I couldn't create my own project template, right? I would have to do that every single time I created a project, right? To get started. I just have to go through and delete all of that stuff because I personally don't need it. Now you may be different. You may want that stuff. That's fine. But just, that's just for instance, for me, like I would have to get rid of all that stuff. Plus, I have to come here and delete that because I just don't need it in my project. Okay, so already we can kind of see how we might go about getting rid of some things, right? But where document templates really come in is right here in the template sheets folder. Okay, this is our document templates. In fact, I could probably rename this document templates just for ease of understanding there, so we can see these are my document templates here. Now, let's say you didn't have this folder set up. You didn't choose a fiction project. Maybe you chose a blank project instead. Okay, let's look at what that looks like. Okay, pull that up, make that big, and maybe we'll even just merge those windows together so we don't have to go switching back and forth here. Okay, close that out. So right now we're in a blank project. You can see, nice thing about a blank project, there's nothing else in it, right? It's just a draft folder, an untitled document, research folder with nothing in it, and a trash folder with nothing in it. But it is missing one thing, our document templates folder. So how would I go about creating this? Really pretty easy. Come down here, click this button in the bottom left corner to create a new folder, or come up here and click add new folder like so. Either way, we're going to rename this document templates, right? And then what we're going to do, we're going to go to project settings. We'll find in this list special folders. That's the one we're looking for because it is indeed very special. Let's click it. Template folders, no template folder is selected. Okay, so we don't have a document templates folder. You can see because template is mentioned in the name, it automatically wanted to pull that up, but it might have also been because I don't have any other folders to select. But there we go. Usually if template's included, it'll do that. And when I do this, I'll click OK, and boom, you can see the icon changed. And now this is, in fact, a document templates folder. That's how we set it up if we don't already have it set up here. Okay. Now, in the case of this starter novel template right here, we already have a couple of a character sketch and a setting sketch that have been added to our project, right? Those are included with every novel template. And so we can modify these. If you actually want to modify the template, this is where you would do it, inside your document template folder, so that when you create from this template, any modification you've made here will show up here. So let's take for instance here. Right now, if I go to my settings and I hit return, a setting sketch is made, and that's what it'll look like, right? But if I come down here and I change all this, let's just say we change the font. Oops, not the wrong one. We change everything to black. Okay, if I come up to the setting sketch I made, you notice that wasn't changed. It's only going to affect new templates. So just be aware of that, any changes you make down here. But if I hit return now, having made that change, look at that. Now it's all black instead of blue like it was before. Okay, so just be aware that you can make changes to these anytime you want to, but it's not going to affect existing templates. It's only going to affect new templates. So the earlier you can make the change, the better, but really don't let that stop you. Go ahead and just use the templates, create your own, and modify them as you go, right? It's just good practice. Oh, give me a second here. There we go. Okay, perfect. So there we go. That is setting, creating new items. Okay, let's talk about setting it up, creating new items, modifying the document templates. Okay, perfect. So we talked about modifying document templates. We didn't really talk about creating ones. Now, the nice thing about Scrivener is that I can actually pull out my project here, right? Put it on one side, put it on the other side. Oops, that didn't quite work. Let's make that smaller. I can go to my document templates folder. There's nothing here. I can actually drag and drop a template over from one project to the other, just like this. Okay. And bring it over just like that. Okay. So if I wanted to add something, and of course, I can create my own template anytime. I can just add a new text document, and I could call this a scene template, right? And just put start writing here, right? And if I went up here and clicked add and then scene template, it's going to add that there, and see, there it is. Start writing here. Now, on its nose, I know that's not very useful, but there are other cool things we can do. Just stay tuned. Now, rather than recreating everything from scratch, I'm actually going to go ahead and go back to our new project window. I'm going to pull up my starter novel template, and we're going to kind of use that as an example. Okay. Pull that up. And I think we'll probably remove our blank project. We don't really need that anymore. And we will use, yeah, let's do that. Boom, right there. Looks like it's a little big. Let's make it a little bit smaller. There we go. Okay, looking better. And we're going to look at some of the templates we have in here. So right now you can see we have some template sheets here already available to you that I've created. That I personally use. I have my, oops, that does not look great. Let's turn off our inspector so we can see this a bit better. There we go. We have our irresistible hero sketch that kind of gives you some great starter points to get started, like creating a hero, right? We have our physical description. We consider eye color, hair color. We even look at some different, what do you call it? I give you some tips and things and fun things that, yeah. And you can see these are all comments and things I've added in. And the cool thing about this is if I come up here and I create it, right? No, it looks like it pulled the wrong one, but let's pull the right one. You see all those comments are preserved. I can even remove them if I don't want them anymore in this specific template. And the cool thing is it doesn't remove them from the template. They're still there in the template. If I deleted them from the template, then they would be gone. But so long as I remove them from a copy, it's no problem. Let's say I don't need them. That's fine. Then boom, now I can use that. Just like that, and it looks really nice and neat, and it looks really cool. I can get started using that right away. And of course, as before, I could actually drag and drop that over to this project just like that. Oops, sorry about that, guys. Sometimes that app. So that's one thing we could do. Let's turn that off. Let's look at it. So I've what I did is I initially, actually, believe it or not, I started with this guy right here. I believe this is the original one. Turn off the inspector so we can see this a little bit more clearly. Yep, this was the original one that was included. And you can see I kind of start with that. I had a physical description. I said, okay, I want to get real specific about the physical description because I don't always remember or think about all the things that have to do with like visually remembering someone. So I have to think, oh, what about their eye color? What about their hair? Voice and personality. What are some unique voice qualities, right? Quirks. I think we have, I don't know if we have quirks here. But I added a lot of extra things. We have flaws. We have wants, like motives, right? We have needs. What does the hero really need? We have secrets. Sorry, this flying around in front of me. We have, if you're doing a negative arc, I added a little section if you're adding a negative arc. Or we can also even consider what's their series arc. What are they accomplishing? What flaws are they overcoming? Or what, negative traits are they getting as a result of if they're doing a negative arc, right? And any additional notes I couldn't think of or didn't cover, right, is right there. So these are all things, right? I just went ahead and built it in there, and I can copy it and use it again and again and again for as many heroes as I so choose. A character sketch, same idea as the other one. I think it's almost the same thing, just different color. Yeah, I think I just made it a little bit smaller. And so this is ideally was for supporting characters I didn't need to know everything about, just want to know some things about them, just get a general idea of what they're doing. Setting sketch, same with the setting sketch. I think I may have added something. Did I add something to this one? Nope. This one's also pretty well the same. I just modified the formatting to be something that I was more aesthetically pleasing to me. Not even that much, really. And then, okay, this is the really cool one. This is where, to me, where where templates save me a load of time. We have our chapter template and scene templates, and we have book templates. Okay. Now that's assuming you actually wanted to do your books in a single project. Okay. So if I want to do that over here, let's come over here and let's pretend like we haven't set that up yet. How are we going to do that? We're going to do series title here. Okay. And we might put a little asterisk around it. Okay, like so. And research, everything looks good. We'll probably want to delete these guys here. And let's go ahead and make our chapter template. Okay, so chapter template looks something like this, right? We could even maybe change the icon, right? I happen to like the brown book. That's nice. And then inside of that, we could add in a scene, right? And this is where the real fun starts. We get to come over here to our inspector, and we get to start assigning things. So we might assign a status like to do, for example, and we might assign a label. Okay, and since we don't know maybe what exactly we're going to be writing here, I typically use labels to keep track of character point of view. You can do whatever you like here. Let's just do. I'm going to do point of view number 1. And I do this because I can come inside when I create this project and I can change it to be something else. Number 2. And yeah, maybe we'll just do 2. And I don't want orange because that's such a common color. Let's do that. And then we'll delete these other guys here. Okay, click OK. And we'll make this a point of view 1. And we'll make this one a point of view 1. Like so. And one thing I like to do too maybe is just go in here and go to view, use label color in icons, so I can kind of see that visually in my binder here. One disadvantage of changing that icon color there, that icon, is it's kind of harder to see the color. So you may want to choose a more, I don't know, an icon that kind of has a better color to it, I guess you could say. Maybe like that. That's a little bit better. Might go with that. It looks a little bit off to me though. So you might want to mess around with that and kind of see what works for you and what doesn't. We'll stick back with our brown book. Okay, like that. Then we can come in here and we actually can set targets. Now imagine you had to set targets again and again and again for every new scene and every new chapter that you created. That to me it kind of made me not want to use the tool because I always had to come in here and set it every single time. So I decided to kind of just standardize my targets and say, okay, on average, I write about this many words per scene. Actually, it's about 1,250 to about 1,500 typically. And I can always adjust this, right? I can change it anytime, but I just like to have a goal to work towards initially. And maybe my minimum target, I might set that as 500. And my overrun, because I go anywhere from 1,250 to maybe even up to 2,000, I'm going to give myself an overrun. Let's do it 2,000 minus 1,250, 750 words, okay? So I'm allowing myself to go over 750 words, okay? I can show the overrun, I can show the allowance, and I can even turn on show product notifications so I could see all that fun stuff. And there it is, bottom right corner set up. You can see it down here too, 1,250. That's the main target, but obviously I'm allowing myself a little leeway of going over. But once I go over 2,000 words, then it's going to start turning red and saying, hey, Oliver, you've gone too far. And so I can set that up like so. And that kind of gives me a range to work with. And the best part is I kind of notate that here too. Sometimes I do that. 2,000 or 250 word target, like so. Oops, I forgot my other parenthesis. You don't have to do this. It just helps me kind of see what I've set up there. I might even put in here in the note card, overrun is set to 2,000 to 750, no more than 2,000 words in this scene. Something like that. Okay, you don't have to, but I can. And then I might go ahead and duplicate that because I usually have about 2 scenes in the chapter. Not always, but usually. Okay. And there we go. My chapter template is set up. And the best part is I can now just go ahead and duplicate this. And since I have a point of view character number 2, right, I'm going to come here, right click, change the label to POV2. And now I have a template for my point of view character 1, my point of view character 2, And I can just come up here down to my series, right? And I can literally just come here and go add chapter template, add chapter template, and there they are. Targets all set up and ready to go. I don't have to think about it again. I just get to work. Okay, super handy. If I look at it in the corkboard view, there it is. Series view, there it is. You know, you can see here it saved what I wrote inside of my index card. So if there's maybe something that you use again and again to help you get started writing, outlining a scene or something, you could drop that in there as well. Whatever information is crucial or critical for you to know or to have, even if it's nothing at all, you can either add it or not. It's just up to you. So you can see how quickly that became very easy for me. Now what I could do is I could come here and do the same thing, but this time for a book. Okay, book template. Okay. And I could also come here, and maybe this icon might have made more sense as a book than the other one. But we'll go with, let's go with the composition. There we go. And we're not going to put any label on that one, so it's just going to look like a composition book. And then what we'll do is actually I'm going to take these guys and duplicate them again and drop them in here like so. But I'm not going to stop there. I'm actually going to go here and create another folder. Call it apart template, like so, and then drop these inside like that, and there might be multiple part templates. You might actually want to do like part 1, part 2, part 3, like I did in, I think this one over here. I think we did, yeah, I did act 1, act 2A, 2B, act 3. How you do that, it's going to be up to you, and there's nothing inside them because I'm assuming I'm pulling my chapter templates. Oops. But, you know, if you want to just do a part template and then might even just do that. You might not even need to replicate it anymore because you can just duplicate that when you pull it out, right? I'm going here, open this up. I'm going to remove this here like so, so doesn't have those numbers there. And then when I'm ready to create my book, right, I just come up here and I say, okay, let's do a book template. I'll drop these guys inside too. I'll duplicate that. We'll drop these templates inside here, like so. And there we go. Just like that, I've got a book with parts set up, right? And I could change this to part 1 and this to part 2. Now, ideally, these are just placeholder names. Whatever you decide to put there, you want to put real descriptive names when you're actually writing your novel, right? So you can look at your binder and know exactly what's going on there. Structure, once again, Scrivener knows the structure, so I don't worry about putting it directly into my naming scheme here. But there we go. We could set that up, and then we could have multiple books. This could be book 1, right? And I could add another one. New from book template, book 2, right? And so on and so on and so on, all the way down here. So hopefully you're kind of catching on here just how powerful this thing can be. It's pretty dang cool. It saves you a lot of time. You can just get started writing. So maybe as an example, just so we can kind of see these targets in action real quick. We know we covered some of this on Wednesday, or Monday rather, but let's take a look. Or are we covering that on Friday? I can't remember. But let's see here. Let's open up the Otter and the Amulet real quick. I'm just going to grab some text here. Actually, you know what? Let's grab this guy right here. Drop it in. You can see, okay, that's about 1,735 words. So we did go over my target of 1,200, but we didn't go over my overrun of 750 words. So you can see it's kind of blue there. It's giving me a little extra room, and it allowed me to go up to 2,000 words before it starts giving me a problem. So let's say we did it again, right? Hopefully you can kind of see that. If we paste it again, oops, yep, we're way over now. We cut that out. You can see that progress bar slowly goes down as I delete text. The closer we get to 2,000 words, the better we'll be. Almost there. Almost there. Boom. Oh, there we go. 2008 words. So we can't. It's probably showing, but we can't see it. It's all looking green now. But if we got rid of those 8 words, we'd be right at 2,000. We'd hit that overrun. Oops. And we would be good to go. Oh, 2001. Boom. Like so. So there we go. Now it kind of switched back to, yeah, there we go. Back to our overrun. And we can see we've gone over our 750 words overrun, and we've met our targets, which is great. So there we go. That looks good. I can look at my statistics here. I'm trying to think anything else we could do. In addition to this, if you really want to get cool with it, okay, you can actually set up custom metadata here. Now, this isn't something I typically cover in this presentation, but let's just do one so you can kind of see this. I could add, let's say, a date. Let's do a due date. Due date, right? And we'll do it as a short date like that. Click OK. And so if I came down here to my chapter template, now I did it for a scene here. I could add that in here. I could actually come down here to my chapter template and maybe set a due date here, and it would save that. Now that I think about it, this isn't the best idea because, right, it's not going to always have, dates are changing constantly, right? So you would have to like set something. It'd be hard to predict that tape. It would be hard to add it to a template, but you could add that and have that here and set something up like that, and you would have that every single time. Maybe instead of a date, let's look at this. Let's go back to our custom metadata and see how we can make this more useful. We could set for a time because time, the time is the same every day. Yeah, it's probably the only thing that really kind of makes sense. Let's look at something different. Yeah. But anyway, maybe a checkbox, yeah. We could, if we did like a to-do checkbox, let's try that. But another cool thing is whatever you set up here, even this due date, that can be saved in our project template later on. So stay tuned, and we can still use that due date even if we don't assign it to our document template here. So to do, we could do a checkbox, right? And we could have it we could have it ticked by default. We don't want it ticked by default. We want it unticked. Click OK, like so. And so now when we come here, the best part is they are all just like that, right? We can just tick or untick them when we come to it. So a lot of fun stuff we can do. We can kind of set up and get ready to roll right from the get-go. I want to see if there's anything else I'm missing I wanted to cover here. No, label statuses. We did labels to targets. Yeah, okay. So super handy. You can do all those things. If you can think of a custom metadata that you want to have on by default for one of these guys, you could certainly do that, and it would do that for you. Okay. Although, real quick, change that back to a date. There we go. Okay, so looking pretty good here. That's document templates in a nutshell. Now, let's go ahead and delete these guys. Move them to trash. We have our chapter templates, book templates. We have our character sketches and irresistible hero sketch, right? Pull that up. Now, let's say we want to take this template, right, and turn it into our own personal template we can use again and again and again. How can we do that? We can go to File, and we go Save as Template, okay? And this is where we get to give it a title. I'm just going to call this my starter test template. I can actually save this in a custom category. In this case, I'm going to select Writing Mentor, okay, for mine. And I could have the icon be something different. Now, I uploaded my own icon. You can do that. It's a little tricky. I'm not going to demonstrate it today, but just be aware that you can do it right there. We're just going to select, let's do the short story pin. I kind of like that. Like so. If you have styles set up, you could save them into the template. I'm not going to. And then we're going to go ahead and click OK. Now, that's our project templates right there. File, new project, Writing Mentor. There's our starter template test. Just like that. Easy as pie. Right? Probably easier than pie. Let's see here. I kind of skipped over a slide here by doing this, but by jumping ahead here a minute. So let's dive right back into the presentation for a second. We'll talk about, how this could be useful and maybe dive it a little bit deeper here. So let me stop share desktop 3, and let's talk about project templates. So creating custom project templates is as easy as creating a new project. And if you often set up projects with the same starter items like character sheets, keywords, or custom labels, personalized templates can really save you a lot of time. Now, the important concept to keep in mind is that whatever you can save within the project, you can save as part of a template. Now, try not to worry about getting everything perfect the first time, though. It's really easy to update existing templates with revised material. And I'll actually show that in just a second. I just showed you how to make it. I'll show you how to go ahead and revise it as well. Now, here are some examples of things we can customize within our project template. For example, we can customize custom labels and status. types of labels, preferred colors, and status stamps that you find useful for your project. Just like we did for our document templates. We kind of already did that, right? We could add project bookmarks. That's one we didn't do. We'll look at that. We'll add some project bookmarks so we can have some key websites or key files that we need available to us all the time, every time. So I would encourage you to try to make a list of writing resources, maybe critique groups or research proposals that you use often so that you can have those access to those in your Scrivener project again and again and again. And of course, we just covered document templates, so you can store your document templates, including your character sheets, resource note starters. You can use document templates to supply yourself with your favorite starter documents, whatever they may be, okay? And of course, you can actually even store compile settings since they are stored in the project settings, and you can configure these so that your future projects will be ready for a one-click export, or at least really close to it. So we'll look at that. And I don't know if I mentioned here in my notes, but I also have shown up here collections. Collections is another great thing you can save as well in the project. So lots and lots of fun stuff you can kind of have set up and ready to go for you. Sorry, guys. I don't know why, but it's really hot here in my office today. And I'm having a hard time breathing from my nose. I think allergies are getting to me. So let's see here. Let's talk about how we revise and update the template, okay, real quick. So I'm going to stop the share, or share the right screen. How would we go about revising this template now that we've made it, okay? So let's say I wanted to change it. Now, the big thing here is you want to make sure you keep this template in a place you can find it. Because if you want to revise it, you'll need to edit it and change it. Okay. And I think it is, what is it? Starter. Oh, it is starter all the template. So it's right here. I saved it in my Scrivener projects folder in my documents here. So that's where I would find it. So anytime I want to update this template, I'm going to come here and open it up again. Okay. I can add things to it, right? Let's make it smaller. I could pull in my other book template, for example, drop it in there like so. I could add in, what else can I add in? Let's just go with that. Oh, maybe I use project notes instead of notes, that kind of a thing. Like so, and then I could come here and I could update this. Let's go ahead and move this guy to trash. When I'm updating something, though, see, I forgot to delete some things, too. So I might want to empty my trash as well. And kind of get those out of the way, kind of clean up. And then have a place where I want it to start. So I like it to start probably with a, let's just do, well, you know what? I have an idea. I have my little activation guide here, right? I can throw that in there like so. Delete that now. And then I want it to always kind of start on my activation guide. Here, maybe even change the icon. Make sure it's something I like. Okay. Make sure those are all closed up. However I want my project to appear when I first opened it up. That's how I should set it up before I save my template. That's one thing I neglected to mention. So we'll go to File, Save As Template. This time we're going to keep all of our settings the same. Starter test template, right? Custom category, writing mentor, icon, short story pen, and we're going to click OK. Now it's going to ask me, hey, the template already exists. So it already exists with this title starter test template. Be aware that you could use any project you wanted. And so long as it has the same name as what is in your new project window, it will replace it. So if you want to do a completely new template and just replace it that way, just give it the name of that template. Now, would you like to replace it or would you like to keep both? If you keep both, it's going to, rename this one and with a different name, probably adding a -1 or something to it, and it'll keep both of them there. But if you want to update it and replace it, you can do this. Now, just be aware, when you do this, the old one is gone. It's being deleted and replaced with the new one. There we go. That's done. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Then we're going to go to File, New Project, Writing Mentor, Starter Test Template, and we're going to click Create. Okay, and we'll just do, I don't think we have the Untitled here. Oh, we do. Untitled 2. There we go. Voila! There it is. Just like we left it, right? So we created a new project from this template, and everything is there, including all of our document templates and things. So Super duper handy. You can see we even have our custom metadata. It has been stored in there still. It's all still there. So just think how you could come in here, set up a custom experience. Yes, it takes a little work on the front end, but you get it set up, you do it, and then you just slowly modify it through time as you learn more about Scrivener. Super handy tool. So this might be one of those presentations you come to say, hey, Oliver, I'm not quite there yet, but I'm still learning Scrivener's tools. And you say, I would say to you, okay, that's great. Go watch some of my other presentations too. Kind of learn how these tools work, like custom metadata. Learn how to use these templates and things like that. You know, how to use labels, how to use status, right? Find out how those tools work, how to use keywords and collections and things. Once you figure out how to use them and whether you want to use them, you can start adding them to your template and say, okay, I'm going to start using these tools and set them up so I don't have to do it again and again and again and waste my precious time. Okay. Oh, if we wanted to do project settings, compile settings in a project template, this is how you would do it, okay? We would go to project settings, and we find here, if I can find it. Oh, it's not here. Where did it go? Templates, autocomplete list formatting, custom metadata. Huh. It's usually here. We'll come back to that. I think I may have forgotten that one. But there should be an option there for compile settings. Why is it not showing up? You know what? We'll come back to it. Or I might have to come back to it another day because for some reason I'm blanking on that. I feel like that should be there, but it's not. So I'll revisit that section later. Sorry about that, guys. My mistake. Let's dive in. Ooh, collections. That's another thing. We can add a collection here. Show collections, right? I could literally add a collection in here, give it a name, like so. And that collection could also be carried on to my next project. Of course, I would probably want to do something in the realm of searching. Let's see, to do like so. Maybe using this right here, either the custom metadata or probably even just status would be fine. Okay. And let's see here. We're searching for status. We're searching for any word. Let's search for exact phrase and save search as collection. There we go. We're going to go. Okay, there we go. Yeah. I think that's the one. So if I came up here, added in let's do a chapter template, for example, and we can do, there we go. Yep, it's this guy. You can see right there, anything that's been assigned to do will appear in this list now, and I can use that collection and I can save it as part of my template here, right? And click OK. We could replace it, right? And now it's going to appear in that every single time. Of course, it's by replacing it, I've added it so it's going to show up with this chapter template here every single time in this view, but that's okay. I was able to add that in and make it a little bit easier for me. Okay, let's close that up. My collections will also be open too. So pretty dang cool. Lots of fun stuff we can do with templates here. Let me see if I'm missing it. We talked about revising templates. Let's look at some things we can do to templates in our new project window now. So I'm going to go ahead and share this up real quick. Oops, stop that. Let's switch over to desktop 3. And let's go back to the presentation here for a second. Maybe not. Where did it go? There it is. So we're going to talk about managing project templates. So thankfully, this is really easy. We already talked about revising. Looks like I kind of duplicated some of the information there. But we're going to look at some different options we have available inside of the new project window. How to select a template as a default template, how to import and export templates. So maybe you created a template on one computer, you want to export it out of that computer and import it onto your other device, how to edit its info, and even how to delete it if that's the case that you just want to get rid of it. How do we go about doing just that? Okay, so move that out of the way. Let's assume now we've got this. We're going to close that guy out. We've kind of set this up how we want to. Let's go to our new project window and let's look at it. Let's see what other things we could do with it right here. So we have our starter test template. So first off, I can actually right click this and I can set template as default. And what that will do is when I go to File, New Project, it's going to come right here. It's going to have it selected and ready to go every single time. I could also do the same thing here. Set template as default. Okay, I can close that out. File, New Project, boom. I come here. There it is. It has that template already selected and ready to go. All I have to do is either double click it or click Create and ready to go. So that's super handy. If you just really want to have that pop up to that same template every single time, you can, of course, let's see here. If you want to set it back to the default, just click up here. And, oh, no, wrong one. Let's see here. Where was it? Oh, yeah, there we go. We would set category as default right here, and that would reset that back to our default option here. So if I close this out now, go to New File, New Project. There we go. It gives us back to our default. So if you want to reset that once you've, if you don't want this one to be your default template anymore. Of course, you could just come to any of these as well. I'd just set the template as default. Now let's talk about importing and exporting templates. We come down here to our Writing Mentor template, right? We can come here and we can actually go to Options, Export Template. And what this allows me to do is to share it with someone or send it to myself, for example, to a different device. So I'm going to put that on my desktop. You can kind of see what that looks like. Looks like just like this. Okay. Now, Windows PCs users, I'll say this, it will look a little bit different for you. It's probably going to look like a little text file. Okay, instead of having that nice little GUI image there that looks real cool on it is on the Mac. But it essentially is just a text file. We send that. You can share that with your PC. You can share that with your other Mac or whatever the case may be. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with iOS or iPadOS. So if you're planning to put this on those devices, you can't. However, you can create project templates, a template from Scrivener for desktop, and then use that same project in the iOS versions. Okay, so just be aware of that. Okay, looks good. If I wanted to import that in, we go to Options, Import Templates. I locate the template and click Import. Now, many of you may be aware that you can download my Starter Novel template. Once you sign up, you get that link. Go to the link, it'll download it onto your device, and then you can go ahead and locate this template file here and install it. Now, one thing I might notice, I've had a few people come and say, hey, Oliver, this template file is not showing up when I download it. If that's the case, I do include that project file for that exact reason, so that you can come into the project just like this, right, and go File, Save as Template, and then just save it directly to your device. Okay, so if for any reason that file's missing, you can't find it, whatever else, you can always actually send a project to another device and do the same thing I just showed you and do File, Save as Template, and you can use it. So kind of two ways. The advantage of sending this template file right here is it's smaller. It's easier to to transfer around, whereas a project file is a tad bit bigger, right? It has a little bit more in it, and therefore it just takes up a little bit more space. Okay. And last but not least, well, actually not last but not least, we have one more. We can actually edit the template info as well. We can come here to our options, click Edit Template Info. This allows me to make changes to it, like so. I could even change categories if I wanted to. I could change the icon, click OK, like so, just like that. And of course, last but not least, if I don't need the template anymore, I can right-click it or come down to Options and click Delete Selected Template. I can even reveal its location in the Finder here. You notice it is specifically on my Mac, it is in Application Support Scrivener Project Templates. Usually I just leave it alone, but you can come here and delete that, and then it's gone. No more. Doesn't exist. Lucky for me, I saved a copy of it, so if I wanted to import that back in, really easy to do. Boom, there it is, just like that. So hopefully you can see it's pretty easy to move these things around from device to device to computer to computer, or to share it with a friend or anyone else you may want to. Not too hard at all. Now, getting the content in there, a little bit more challenging, right? That does take a lot of more work, but the actual creation and use of these templates is pretty straightforward and very simple. There we go. Excellent. You know what I forgot? I just remembered was project bookmarks, right? So we could come here. If we add in a project bookmark, for example, and the internal bookmark is going to show up here. Okay. Probably didn't need to add a bookmark to the document itself, but we could. I could add project bookmarks here, and those would also be saved in my template. Hopefully you're catching the drift here. Basically, anything I save in my project, any tool, just about any tool here where I save stuff, it's going to be able to save in the template for you, okay? So whether it's synopsis and notes, whether it's a bookmark to a website or a host of different websites, whether it's custom metadata, or comments and footnotes, those all can be saved in a template. So if you can find a way to make those tools useful for you, do it. Use it and get that information in there into your project template so you don't have to recreate it again and again and again for every single project. Okay. Well, I think that about covers it for templates. Like I said, it's not too complex of a process. It's really just how do I get these started up and set up and going? How do I kind of manage them or revise them and use them? And then just getting to work and starting to use those tools to your advantage. So let's go ahead and let's close this out for a second. Let's go back to our presentation. Share. Desktop 3. Sorry, this thing is in the way of my button. There we go. And let's talk about free resources, and then we're going to jump into our Q&A here in just a minute. So, of course, we have tons of great free resources available for you. You can reach those at ojevanson.com/links, as well as our webinar library, our user forum, our user manual, blog, video tutorials, so much more at literaturelatte.com and ojevanson.com/tools. And, of course, we have a full knowledge base. So if you'd like access to that, let me just drop that link in there for you guys so you have it. Maybe if I can get some things out of the way here. Links. Oh, come on. Work with me here. Computer doesn't want to work with me. Okay. There we go. Finally got it. There we go. Got it. So there you go. Those links there for you. Take advantage of those tools. They're going to save you a lot. Now, of course, we get to talk about what's next, what's coming up. So I hope you will join me this Friday, July 19th, 2024 at 11 a.m. for my webinar, Getting Writing Done in Scrivener, where I'll discuss 5 powerful tools to help you crush your writing goals. So we're going to go deeper into targets and things and fun stuff like that and how we can set those up for success. And that's something we didn't cover. That's, project targets is another thing we could save in a template. We're going to look at how to do that, how to set those up, how those all work, including even document targets in a little bit more depth. Okay, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Now, before I conclude the webinar, I just want to make sure that I delivered on my promise. I know that was a lot of information, but did you learn how to create and use project and document templates in Scrivener? And I hope the answer is yes, I got it. But if it's not, now is the time. Let me know, and we can clarify and we can get your questions answered in the Q&A. Let me look and see the chat and see if we got this figured out. Q&A, looking, oops. Okay, well, we're going to move on here. Let me see if I can find what happened in my presentation here. So let's go ahead and open the floor for any questions you may have. I'm happy to address any concerns or confusion you have regarding Scrivener and its features, as well as provide tips and advice to helping you use it more effectively. So don't be shy. Ask away. Cheryl says, great presentation, but I'll have to watch it a couple more times and practice to really get it. No, I totally get that. No, I understand that. And so the good news, guys, is like I said, this replay is available for you. You will have to watch it and rewatch it. You can slow it down. The beauty of YouTube is that you can literally slow me down and kind of take it beat by beat. And I will be aware of that and try to slow down for you. There, Lloyd, sorry about that. I agree with Cheryl. Me too. Marilyn, you delivered. I'll have to watch the video again. It's a lot, but good, but a lot. No, I get you. I get it. So if you do have any questions, of course, let me get that up for you guys again. Reach out to us, Scrivener/Mac, Scrivener/Win/mobile, and Scapple at literaturelatte.com if you have any Scapple-related questions. And of course, if you need some help, direct help from me, reach out to me at contact@ojevanson. Happy to help you out. Happy to get you there. So if you have questions, now is the time. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to close this out for a second. Kind of reshare them the right screen here, and we'll get rolling. Where is that? Pro document desktop 1. There we go. Okay. I think I saw a question there. So Lloyd says, yes, problem is really on my end. I'm waiting for cataract surgery. I'm having trouble following the rapid movement of the cursor, the drop downs appearing and disappearing, and the menu options. I apologize about that, Lloyd. Well, good luck with your surgery. I hope that goes well for you. And yeah, hopefully after all is said and done, you can rewatch this and get where you need to go. And I saw some questions pulling up in the chat too. Let me pull that up. Where did it go? Where did it go? I hate when things just disappear on me. There we go. Okay, so but for after the presentation, if you have done a novel pretty much, if you have a novel pretty much done already, can you do a template after the fact and transfer novel to it, or not worth it at that point? Having issues exporting, so looks good in my present template. Okay. Yeah, so that's a good question. I have been building and working on a template for some time, believe it or not, and it's been a long process, and it actually began with this project right here. Okay, this one right here that I'm now publishing on Substack, one chapter at a time, in preparation for the final publication coming in either late fall or early next year. So this project became my template, and what I did is I essentially stripped out all the text. So I got rid of all the text here. You may even see some of it kind of reminiscent of my starter novel template, right? And I have all my notes and stuff, and then I actually stripped it all out and I created something new. So what I would do is probably duplicate the project, that novel project you're working on there. Let me see if I can see the chat, see who it was I was responding to. Yeah. I would strip out everything that you don't need in that project. I duplicate it, strip everything out you don't need, and then use that kind of stripped out project, kind of clean it up, make it look a little nice, and use that as your template for your next book. Or, if you're doing a series, you may actually want to clean that one up, get everything good to go. You may even want to use it as a series template, right? And actually maybe even keep your project in there at some point. Actually, I would still strip everything out, create a template for it, okay, like this, create that template for it, and then actually maybe move my stuff into that new project so that once it's all cleaned up and nice looking, if that makes sense. I mean, it's up to you. It depends on if you just want to make something to work for that single project, or if you're planning to write several series and you want to have a nice series template to work with. Okay, Renee's asking if there's time, can you demonstrate again how to add in metadata? Yep, let's look at it real quick. So if we go to my starter novel template here, right? If I wanted to add in metadata, I'd come to my inspector right here. We're going to go to custom metadata right here. There's 3 little dots right there. I can click edit custom metadata. And there we go. It takes me here. Now it's worth noting too, I can also go to project settings, custom metadata to do the same thing. So it's just a matter of what is the easiest way to get there for you. And of course, this is where we will add in different metadatas, text, list, right? And remember, everything that I add here, that's going to be saved in my project template, okay? So just be aware of that. Whatever you put there, that'll come along with your project template. Hopefully that answers your question there, Renee. Frank, is there a link for that guide? Which guide are you talking about, Frank? Let me know, and I will see if I can figure out what it is you're looking for. Okay, what's the difference between export/import versus just putting the template file into the folder where you want it? Okay. Where you want it. Okay, so the difference is if I export and import a template, it's going to be in my new project window. I mean, technically, right, what I could do, I could take this template and I could just bank a bunch of project templates in a folder somewhere and then just edit them and use them. I think the convenience here, Grace, is that it can actually just be in my Scrivener app here, right? When I open up my new project, right, and maybe I've set this one as the default, right? I don't have to go looking around for that specific template now. I could just find it right there in Scrivener. Yep. And as Alex pointed out, when we actually import it in, if we reveal the template in Finder, it actually is stored in a special folder, Scrivener folder, so Scrivener can see those, okay, and find them. Perfect. Oh, Susan, I'm glad you enjoyed the session. Yes, thank you, Alex. I was also wondering about that. Let's see if I missed anything else. I'm scrolling down here. Hopefully, Grace, I answered that question that Grace asked well. Thanks, Alex. I didn't see you would post Catherine's question again, but I appreciate that. What about retrofitting an existing project into a template? I think that's what I was mostly talking about. Yeah, so usually that's what I do. And that's what I recommend you do. It's rare that I say you should start out a project and say, hey, I'm going to start out and build a template. No, that's not the best way to do it. And number two, the main reason behind that is that template may not be very useful. The beauty of creating a template that's based on a project you've already created and used and have written in means that template was used, right? It was designed around needs that you experienced as a writer, right? And that's the best template. You don't want to create a template that just doesn't make sense. And that's why all my templates that I make for you guys, and I plan to make for you guys, they're created from my own experience. They're things that I've written a project, I've written a book in it, and then I modified it to make it cleaner and work for everyone, ideally, right? And so this starting out, this is my first one. I have like 5 that I'm working on, and yeah, it takes a long time. So bear with me. I'm hoping to get more of these guys out to you. But there's gonna be more fun stuff coming your way based on what I've created. Okay. Well, thank you, Susan, for coming. Appreciate it. Renee, thank you. Lloyd, signing off. Thank you. Grace, I don't mean creating a template from a project. I mean taking something I've created and putting into a different template. Okay. Yeah. So if you, you could definitely do that. I think I kind of demonstrate that, but let's look at it again. Let's say I created this template here and I wanted to move it to a different template. Okay. Well, so for example, let's say I created a new project. I'm working in that project. I created something. I want to add it now to my existing starter novel template, right? So what would I do? We'll just call this the new thing, okay? And so if I wanted to bring the new thing into an existing template, this is what I would do. I'd bring it over. I'd drop it in the new thing, right? In there like so. That's now a template. In fact, it's a document template, so it's a template inside a template, right? We go, File, Save As, click OK. In this case, we've already done it, and that's how we would do that. Project, I mean, taking something. Okay, sorry. I guess I'm not getting you, Grace. I apologize, but I apologize. But that's how we would bring something in from one project to another and then revise and update that template. And I guess that's not quite what you're looking for. Oh, how do you move a manuscript to a new template? Yeah, that's easier. That's fine too. Sorry. Yes, that's a good question. Yeah. So Grace says she wants to apply an existing template to an existing project, and I think Floaty actually has it right. Yeah, you couldn't apply a template to an existing project. You would have to move it. Now, the real question you have to ask yourself is, do you really want to do that? Maybe I say that because a lot of the initial templates here, right, the new projects and stuff, these are very similar to each other. There would be no reason to move a novel template to a novel with parts simply because they're almost identical. It's just a couple folders difference. But I could understand maybe saying, hey, I started in the novel template. I now have Oliver's starter novel template, and I want to move it into that. How would I do that? So let's do that. That's a great question. So let's actually go to the Otter and the Amulet, for example. Recent projects. The Otter and the Amulet. I would actually have to transfer this over. Now, I could literally, go in here and go to File, Import, and import the Scrivener project like this. Let's go to Dropbox, Apps, Scrivener. Where is the Otter and the Amulet? Where are you? Right there, Import. And you can see Scrivener can actually import the whole thing just like this in one time into the template. Now, disadvantage of this is you're going to have to sort through all of that information and put it where it goes. See, there it is at the bottom of my project now. It's all here, every little bit of it. Now, maybe a little better technique. Maybe you don't need everything. Like, for example, I also already know where I would want things to go in here, right? So I'd actually want this to move over here, right? You know, and what I neglected to do, you should create a new project from the template first, right? So create a new project template from that template, right? And then add it to that new project, right? We come here, we give it a new name. We basically just move everything over. So I could either import the entire project and then sort it out, or I can drag and drop it over to the new template like so. Choice is yours. Hopefully that makes sense, Chris. I know I kind of explained that really kind of weird. Maybe let me, but yeah, hopefully, hopefully you got it. Basically, create the new template, open your old project, drag and drop things over, or import it into the new template, and you're good to go. There we go. That's it in layman's terms. So there you go. Well, thank you guys. That was a good question. Actually, I haven't been asked that question. It's not something we see or do very often, but it's definitely something you can do. Okay. Whew, man. Well, we are we're just about out of time anyway. So I think we're good to go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. Thank you so much for coming. This has been a lot of fun. Really enjoyed having you here. The replay will be available shortly after, so stay tuned for that. I'll get that up to the YouTube channel, and it will be available in the webinar library early next week. Thank you, everyone, for coming, and I will catch you all again on Friday for 5 powerful tools to crush your writing goals. We're going to talk about getting our writing done using project targets and document targets, so I can't wait to share that with you. I'll catch you then. See ya.